Perk, who is more important to Game 2, the Joker or Deandre Ayton?
It's Deandre Ayton. And look, we all know that Jokic is the MVP and he's a superstar, and I get all that he's a special talent. But Deandre Ayton has came to light, and he's found his groove. And he's not afraid of big Jokic, okay? He's dominating him on both ends of the floor, especially in Game 1. He dominated him. He dominated him where he held Jokic to 10 to 23 from the field, only 22 points. And on the other end, he went at him. He had 20 and 10 himself. And when I'm looking at Deandre Ayton, he's playing with a certain type of tenacity. He's playing with a certain type of edge. And you know where that edge comes from? It comes from CP3. It comes from Jay Crowder putting that key in his back. And by the way, let me give credit to one of the assistant coaches that is sitting on alongside Monty Williams, Coach Mark Bryant. MB is what we call him. One of the most underrated coaches in the game today that takes a lot of time with Deandre Ayton, putting that dog in him, developing his skill set. So Deandre Ayton is the most important tonight, because if he dominates like he did in Game 1, the Suns will win in great fashion again, like in Game 2, like they did in Game 1.
Most important player is obviously Jokic. I agree with you about Ayton's excellent play. And by the way, he was good against AD. And, you know, it's ironic that coming into these playoffs, it's like, well, the Suns' one issue.
We're not talking about AD.
Ayton's
We're not talking about AD.
Right, I'm talking about AD. Don't worry about it. You had your chance. Now you just got to sit there and figure out how you're going to lose another argument to me. Look, the bottom line is Ayton was green, right? Too green to deal with AD. Did a good job. Too green to deal with Jokic. Did a good job. Matter of fact, what's he going to do about Jokic's passing? Well, Jokic looked tired in the second half and actually was not as effective a passer. I tip my hat to Deandre Ayton, who you credit for dominating Jokic, who wound up with 20 points and Jokic wound up with 22 points, 23 points, whatever it was. Right, that's dominating Jokic. You come away with the same numbers as Jokic, you dominated him. No, he played better than we anticipated, and Jokic played worse than we anticipated, largely because of Ayton. Ayton had a good game. That does not make him the most important player in the series. Andre Iguodala was not the most important player in the series against the Cavs when he won Finals MVP. LeBron James was. Andre Iguodala's the point of Iguodala's play was to try to limit LeBron James as much as possible. You know why? Because LeBron James was the most important player, and Jokic is the most important player here. He was the MVP of the regular series. He has, so far up till right now, been the best player in every series he's played in. He will likely be the best player in this series. If you want to say DeAndre Ayton's job is to make sure Jokic is not the best player in this series, and therefore he's important, fine. But his importance is linked to the fact that he is going up against the most important player in the series. And by the way, I don't expect Jokic to be an ineffective passer for the rest of this series either, Perk.
Why not? I mean, listen, what we saw against the Denver Nuggets against the Portland Trail Blazers, let me remind you, okay? The Portland Trail Blazers had the worst defense in the entire league. This is a new ball game right here. And when I talk about Ayton, and I talk about him dominating the matchup, and you bring up points talking about, oh, Jokic had 23 and Ayton had 20. How did he get dominated? Well, I'm going to tell you, Max, because Jokic had 22 points on 23 shots. Ayton had 20 points on 13 shots. That means he was more efficient. And you know what else is going on? Now, you know why Jokic looked tired? Because he's involved in pick and rolls. Because he has to now be worried and guard DeAndre Ayton because they're featuring him in the offense. It's a big difference. This is why I say Ayton is more important, because now Jokic can't relax on the defensive end. He got to be held accountable along with carrying the load offensively. Of course he's going to look tired, Max. That's why DeAndre Ayton has to continue to play with that tenacity and the energy that he played with in Game 1.
DeAndre Ayton was the number 1 overall pick in a draft with Luka and Trey, and you can't say he's a bust. No way. Like, he's a good player who's getting better, and the reason I bring up AD is because the matchups for him are AD and then Jokic, and you're expecting but instead, no, it's for the other guy. I'm not discounting him. What I'm saying is you're not going to stop Jokic all series. Jokic has too many ways to beat you, even if he is fatigued at times because he's got to He's got to play defense on a guy who can score. He's being defended by an athletic young guy who is motivated by Chris Paul. All that's true, but you're not going to stop over the course of a series a guy who can pass as well as anyone who's ever played the position, and most who haven't in the history of basketball, from a guy who's a low down low, who can score, who can shoot the three, who's always looking for his teammates. And by the way, yes, at home you're going to have an advantage, but they're going to have the same advantage at Denver. Jokic is the MVP for a reason. He's the best player in the series. He's the most important. And the entire game plan for Phoenix has to be, what are we going to do about him? By the way, the more help he gets, the better. Porter Jr. going to play? That's good. Barton maybe coming back? That's good, because they're thinned out in the backcourt. Jokic is the most important player in the series.
All right.
Well, Max, what you fail to realize is, and I'm going to repeat this to you again, this is a different ball club, okay? This is not Portland, where you could get backdoor cuts and get easy baskets, and they're playing pickup ball. This is a Phoenix Suns that are locked in, that plays boxes and elbows, that know how to throw different defensive coverages at you. Did you see in game one, real quick, Molly? Max, did you see in game one when Jokic started, a cut was there, he tried to make a cross-court pass, and Mikal Bridges was right there to intercept it? That's the difference. This Phoenix Suns is a detailed type team.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.